at the Rock Health and Wellness Center, and this is Life with Jason Clemmons, DC. That's exactly what we're doing tonight. We're just going through life. I hope you guys have had a fantastic Tuesday. It's Tuesday, February 6th, and we're coming to you right here from the Rock Health and Wellness Center studios and at 98.7 Walk by Faith Radio and 1420 AM Lubbock Christian Nation. So hope everybody out there is listening. I hope everybody that's listening has had a great day. Hope things went your way today. I learned some amazing stuff today that I absolutely have never heard in my entire life. And so when people say you can't learn anything new every single day, I think they're wrong. So I can't believe the information that I got and the information that I've learned. You guys might already know it, but I didn't know it. And wow, what an amazing piece of information. So we've got two amazing pieces of information for you tonight. Actually, we've been working for quite some time to try to develop a relationship and have an opportunity to get you guys access to our standard process products that we use here in the office. And so we have finally partnered with Standard Process in a way that gives us an opportunity to be what they consider to be a premier practitioner with them, so that we have a website now with Standard Process where you can order all of your Standard Process supplements directly online and have it shipped directly to you. And you can get whatever you're looking for. And it's got all of the Standard Process, the MediHerb. It's got veterinary supplements for your animals. It's got for your dogs, your cats, your equine animals, your horses, all that stuff. So I'm so excited about this opportunity to have this. We carry it. We've always carried it in the office, and we'll continue to carry it in the office. If you ever, when you come in and get adjusted, or you just want to stop by the office and pick something up. But if you're out there, we highly recommend both Standard Process and ourselves. We highly encourage customers to seek the advice of licensed healthcare practitioners prior to purchasing any products. And so, and that's why you'd want to call us and talk to us if there's something that you're wanting to get or you're needing to get. But I'm really excited about that. So we're gonna go over that tonight and go from there. Look, praises that we had today. We had a really cool experience this morning. I had one of our treadmill people that walks on our Ultra G. She's doing fantastic, getting on her feet. She's just so inspiring. We love her to death. And while she was working, she's about to turn 15 in April. And she asked me while she was walking, she said, "Do you take care of any other kids my age?" And I said, "Well, yes, we take care of kids of all ages and people of all ages." And I said, "I'm about to adjust a little girl who was just born last Wednesday." And so that's one of the things that we actually got to do. The mother called as a new patient. She called in on Wednesday, and she had been walking the day before. She was 39 weeks and 4 days pregnant last Wednesday morning when she called me, and she had been on her walk the day before, and the baby had gone breech. And usually, if we have some time to work on that, we can get the baby to turn back. We've almost had 100% success rate with that move right there, but I just got it too late. We worked on her Wednesday morning, and I always laugh and joke with the moms that come into the office, because I try to explain to them. I say, "Look, we have a rule at the Rock Health and Wellness Center that we do not deliver babies." And so far, I've been lucky because I've made it all the way. Tomorrow is the beginning of my 20th year as a licensed chiropractor in the state of Texas. So I've made it 19 full years as of today without having to deliver a baby in my office. So I'm happy about that. All the ladies that have been participating have followed the rules, so we're really appreciative of that. But I told her that last week, and then, I called, or maybe before I even had a chance to call that evening when I got off work or got finished with the show, she sent a message that she delivered the baby breech anyway. And so that was great. So that baby had gone through a little bit of trauma, had some bruising on her nose, kind of on her forehead a little bit, and some bruising on one of her legs. And so um, mom wanted to get her checked. The midwives wanted to get her checked. So we did that. We got her checked, and she came in and got adjusted today. So I guess she was 6 days old. This is the 7th day, maybe 6 or 7 days old. She got her first adjustment today. So yeah, that was a praise for us. She started off life right from the beginning, getting adjusted, getting her nervous system checked, checking on some of those reflexes, and making sure those are all firing properly so she can latch and eat like she's supposed to, turn her head in both directions, make sure that works. And if you haven't ever seen an adjustment on a baby, don't freak out. It's not like you would adjust a 25 or 30-year-old. It's a very gentle, very soft process. A lot of it would just do some holding and some very gentle stretching. The baby was beautiful. She never even fussed during the whole entire time. Usually what will happen after they get so relaxed, they fill their diapers up. So that's exactly what happened with her. She took a big old deep yawn. That's part of the process there. And just kind of relaxed into the whole thing. And that's kind of when I kind of know that that's the end of that adjustment. So she did great. That was a praise. It's so awesome. So that was one that I did today. And then I adjusted a 6-day-old, and I adjusted a, I don't know, 86-year-old, I think, 85, 86. I'm not exactly sure how old my sweet lady in Littlefield is, but been taking care of her since right after 2008. Been adjusting her that long, but that's when I went over to started seeing patients in Littlefield on Tuesday. That's where I go over on Tuesday afternoon, and so I adjusted her, and she's doing well. She's getting along. She's fighting her way through life, but she's 85 or 86 years old. So that's pretty awesome. That's a pretty good praise for me. We had a 6-day-old and an 86-year-old or 85-year-old. So it was a good day at the Rock. It was good to get to see all the people in between too. So just because you're not, brand new or very, very not brand new, doesn't mean I didn't appreciate getting to adjust you. We did lots of them. There's all kinds of stuff that we do on a daily basis. And so those are just some of the praises that we had. Had some good conversations. I had one of my ladies tell me, I really don't know where I would be if I hadn't been getting adjusted. And I thought that was great. She was talking to me about some of the things that she had suffered through in the past. And she's a pretty regular person. She gets about every 2 weeks, she gets adjusted in Littlefield. And she's been there since 2008 as well. So it's really awesome to get to take care of those people. Good stories, lots of fun when you do chiropractic wellness, and you're working on things all the time. And that's why we're so excited about this relationship that we have with Standard Process, to be able to get you some of these things that we take on a daily basis. Just like, Catalan, that's my multivitamin right there. Take it every single day. And every single day that I remember, and it's almost always that I remember. So that's the thing that we do, and it's a whole food company, and so we're really excited about that. We're really and so I hope you guys get to take advantage. We'll get into that in just a second, because I've got to get to this story, that this new information that I learned that I have never known before. So to give you a little history on it, and I've mentioned this before on the show to you guys, and I've mentioned that the Flexner report, and I've actually got the Flexner report right here by Abraham Flexner, Flexner, Flexner report, and this was written in 1910, and the trustees of the Carnegie Foundation, in their meeting of November 1908, authorized a study and a report upon the schools of medicine and law in the United States, and appropriated the money necessary for this undertaking. So in early 1900s, 1908, the Carnegie Foundation, which was funded by Andrew Carnegie, and some people I think it's Carnegie actually, but we all say Carnegie. He funded Dr. Flexner to go around the world and try to find out where there was the most organized medicine. Now, it started off being admirable. He was the richest man in the world at the time, I think, or the richest man in America. I don't ever know if we know exactly who's the richest man in the world, because there's a lot of places that have a lot of oil and they do a lot of things, and who knows? But he sold his company, his steel company, to J.P. Morgan. He became the richest man in America. And for some reason, these rich people, that when they get super rich, they just feel like they're just so guilty that they have all this money, and they just feel superior, and they feel smarter than everybody else, and they just think, man, we really should do something to help society. I just feel bad that I have all this money, that somehow I was able to do it, so I need to make policy, and I need to make, and I just need to help society. So what do? They get into medicine, and they got into medicine in the early 1900s, and so he commissioned Dr. Flexner to go around the world, and I will come back to this in just a second, because Dr. Flexner, one of the things he fell in love with was the scientific method of the Germans. So that's that. He came back, and I'll get into that in just a second. But this is the amazing part that I've never heard, and maybe you guys have heard this. So if you've heard it, you're not going to be near as excited about it as I am, and it's not going to be such a revelation to you. But I did my continuing education last weekend. I think that's what I was listening. I think that's the one I was listening to. It might not have been. I might have been listening to another video of some kind. But I heard it. Yeah, I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard a doctor reference the book Blitzed, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard the book or heard of the book Blitzed. I got it on my Audible, and it's called Blitzed: Drugs in the Third Reich by Norman Ohler, Ohler. And so I just heard him talking about it for a second. And, we do the book review nights and everything on Wednesdays. And so, pretty soon I'm going to run out of books that we've been going for 5 months now. And so we've done a lot of the books. So I got to keep going, right? Which is awesome for me, because I got to read some more books so we can have our book review night. But Blitzed is one of them. And I ordered it, and I should have it in paperback form. Maybe today or tomorrow it should be delivered. So we'll probably be getting to this really quick as well. I don't know I don't know if anybody's ever read it. You can send me a text, 806-794-0400, or you can send me a message in the chat box. And if you've ever even heard of this, but it's something that I didn't know. And what it is the story of drugs and methamphetamine. The whole first part of the book, Chapter 1, is all about methamphetamine and where methamphetamine came from. And the Merck Pharmaceutical Company and the Bayer Pharmaceutical Company, both of them being German companies, all the way back into the 1800s. They were working on this stuff all the way back into the 1800s, and they were trying to come up with different things to alleviate the misery of humanity. That's exactly where it all started. They were trying to find chemicals to alleviate the misery of humanity, because and they might have been onto something, because back in the day, and even to this point, for some of us out there, life was rough. Life was super hard. Like, think about it. We didn't have electricity. We didn't have running water. We didn't have a sanitation. There was a lot of things going on back in the day, right? And I imagine it was rough. And so these guys started turning to poppy seeds and they just started the pharmaceutical revolution, or what we know today as a pharmaceutical industry. And they started back there, and so they're the ones that created crystal meth. Like the Germans were the first ones that started that. I don't know I don't know. I never heard it before, and I'm 53 years old. I'm not that out of the loop on a lot of things, but I missed this one. And so it's exciting to me because it's brand new. So like literally this afternoon, I learned this whole thing. So I listened to it on my drive, listened to the book on my drive to Littlefield, and it was breaking down the crystal meth and how they used it, and then how they got like all of the derivatives off of it, and how they got heroin, and how they got morphine, and by continuing this whole thing, cocaine, and all of it together. And like they were like the whatever they make the heroin with, or whatever, the poppy seeds or the poppy plants or whatever though they are, like they said all of Peru, like 5 tons, I think Peru or whatever, in the late 1800s or the early 1900s, sold all of their stuff to Germany. Like Germany was the place where they actually started all this stuff. Like they were the drug dealers of the world. They're the ones that made all the cocaine, they made all the meth, and they made all the pills. And like the whole country ended up being hooked on drugs. And that was that before World War I, and then they came out during World War I. Then they lost World War I. Well, then they got all these drugs and all this meth and all this stuff. And apparently Berlin, um, after World War I, was like the place to party in the whole world. Like that's where you used to go to party and get your drugs and sex, drugs, and rock and roll or whatever. I don't think there was rock and roll back then, but that was the whole thing. That it was all about the nightlife in Berlin. That's where you would go. You just get stoned out of your mind, right? With all this just drugs, and it came along. Well, so where did our boy Flexner go, right? Where he was enamored by the Germans. He went to the Germans. And what did the Germans immediately start to do? What did those guys start to do when they started making all that stuff, right? All those guys that started making, the first one that made that crystal meth, and everybody, it just stimulated the living heck out of their brains, right? They could go all night. They could keep going. It was just amazing the things that they could do. They were just loving life because they were just stoned out of their minds. And it was all coming from these labs, these medical labs with this scientific method, right? That they were all coming right out of Germany. And so this whole thing right here, and every like, so what happens when you get a bunch of people hooked on something? You know how much money you make from that? Like, you know how profitable it is to get people hooked on stuff? It's very profitable. And so here we go, another one. Merck did it. The Merck Pharmaceutical, I didn't know that. The Merck Pharmaceutical company that is German. Mr. Merck himself started that thing, started selling meth back in the day, right? So fast forward a little bit, and then all of a sudden, we get Hitler comes along, and Hitler is trying to clean everything up. One of the things is, like, they talked about, Hitler didn't drink coffee. Hitler didn't drink alcohol. Hitler didn't he didn't mess with women. He believed in a clean body and a clean no poisons inside his body. He ate vegetables. I didn't know all this stuff about him. He ate and he was all about that stuff. And then he turned to his medical doctor, and I forget his name at the point. You guys probably all know his name, but he got a personal medical doctor that would give him different kinds of medications, but he didn't consider those to be toxins, and vitamins. He would get him vitamin injections as well. And so that fast forward, we get into it. So now the Germans are about to invade France, and they've got this general or something that has this idea that they're going to take the tanks through the mountains and they're going to invade France. But by this time, they've already got meth. It's called Pervitin, 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 Pervitin. So they've already got Pervitin that distributed to all the soldiers. And what they found out, because they were doing research in the labs, one of the things they found out was, with the research that they were doing inside these labs, is that it would increase alertness. It would increase the ability to stay up all night long. You didn't get tired. There wasn't any, you wouldn't sleep. You could just drive and drive and drive and drive. But when they tested these people, they made them do math problems like all night long. They took a group of people that were on the Pervitin or the meth or some sort, and they took a people that were off of it, and then they made them do the testing all night long. Well, the ones that weren't taking it, by the time in the middle of the night, they were laying their heads on the desk and they were asleep. But the other group, they were going all night long, just as fast as they could go, and they never stopped. But they didn't do very well on the test. It didn't make them more clever. It didn't make them smarter. It didn't make them be able to answer those questions better. It simply just made them not go to sleep and drive, right? So they had the great idea that this would be perfect for the military, because we don't need our soldiers to be all that smart. We just need them to be able to drive and fight and go, and not sleep and go. And so they got ready to invade Germany, and they had these soldiers, and they knew they were going to send these tanks through. And the first German generals were like, "This is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. This is never going to work. You can't take tanks. You can't lead a charge with tanks, and plus you can't lead a charge of tanks through mountainous ranges and all that sort of thing. This is not going to work. They were never going to be able to get through this deal." And fast forward, Hitler gets involved in this deal, and he figures out he likes this idea that they're going to attack France from this one side. Well, they knew they couldn't get sleepy. They were going to have to drive through the night. They were going to have to go 24 hours. So all the German soldiers were on Pervitin. They were I didn't know that. They conquered France on meth. The Germans conquered France on meth. That's what I learned today. When they attacked like crazy. They had so much energy. They had so much the passion. They were driving. They were crazed. They were like, it scared the French. According to the book Blitz, it scared the French into submission, basically, because they couldn't believe what they were seeing from these German soldiers. And these German soldiers wouldn't sleep, and they were going 24 hours. Sometimes they were going longer than that. One story was about 3 days that they just pushed and kept going, and they were just clobbering the French, and the French were so stunned by what they were seeing, and Hitler was selling this thing as some sort of Aryan superiority of the Germans, that we can fight anything, we can take on anything, all this sort of thing. And they were high as a kite over there. I just thought that was crazy. I can't wait to get home to hear the rest of the story and read the rest of the book. I'd never heard that before. Never in my lifetime had I ever heard that. And so I thought to myself, like, wow, like what was that? Like, I never, why am I just now hearing this for the first time? And where did our medical industry, what model did our medical industry take over and model after? Who was Dr. Flexner so enamored with in his Flexner report? And I've got it right here. It's extracted from the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching, Bulletin number 4, 1910. Got it right off the National Institutes of Health, right? We modeled our medical world after the Germans, who were the creators of methamphetamine, who were the creators of chemicals to drive the brain, to advance the physical ability of a human being without any regard for what was going on with them. And I thought to myself, well, it was in the mid 1800s when Merck came along, and now we're getting into the mid 1900s, and by the mid 1900s, the Germans are high as a kite, and they're fighting in World War II, right? And then I thought to myself, okay, now Flexner goes and he in 1910 comes back and models these German doctors about how cool this model is that we're going to follow, and it implements that in the entire world. Implements it they just basically take over the medical schools in the United States, and they teach the medicine as if it's the only way you can have medicine now is to be is to be allopathic, and we're going to do it the way that the Germans did it, and we're going to create the drugs for the patients that get them hooked on it. And what's going to happen 100 years later? What happened to the Germans after World War One? Their whole country was high. They were all a mess, right? Women were on drugs, men were on drugs, little kids were on drugs, the whole thing. And 100 years later, after you look at 100 years worth of drugs in Germany, and those guys are crazy. Now, go fast forward to 1910. Here we come, Frexner. Here we go. We're gonna create the same exact model, and let's fast forward 100 years to 2010. And what do we get? We got the opioid crisis, right? What do we got right now that we deal with every single day? Meth and cocaine and all of the drugs that people are on, and all the depression and the anxiety. And so if you got something, we got a drug for you, right? How interesting is that? I can't wait to get home. I know you guys might not think it's as interesting as I do, but I thought it was just amazingly interesting. I just thought, yep, we picked a model of a bunch of high people, and look where our country is now 100 years later off of that. So every day we fight the wellness battle. Every single day that I go without taking a Tylenol or an Advil, man, I'm fighting it from years and years back. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back right after these messages with Life with Jason Clemmons, DC. Yeah. So anyway, maybe I'm the one. I might be the only one that's like really excited about this news. But who cares? I'm the only one. I'm just sitting here by myself talking to you guys. So it was really news to me that was the case. And if you look and see what exactly we've done to ourselves, right? The model we followed 100 years in advance from the time that we started following it, it's like, just take a look around. The average Medicare person's on 7 or 8 pharmaceuticals. We got pharmaceuticals for little kids now. We've got vaccines for you from the day you're born all the way through, 70, 80 something vaccines for children. We've got all the drugs for all the things. I had another conversation yesterday with one of my gals about, it was so funny because we did the talk on Tums and Rolaids, and we had that conversation. And then we went right back and so I had a girl yesterday say she was having trouble with indigestion and Tums. She's just chewing Tums and another proton pump inhibitor. And I was like, okay, girl, come on now. You need some help. You need some education on what we're supposed to do, and how do you get the good food? How do you get the nutrition into you? What do you get to support your body when it needs that stuff? And so that's why I'm so excited about this standard process relationship that we've got. Because now we've got some stuff, and as soon as we get back from this break, that's what I'm going to go into next, is about the whole standard process stuff, the relationship, some of these supplements. What is a supplement? What is a whole food company? What difference does it make? And what difference does it make to you? So I think you'll enjoy it. So let me get back on the radio here. Okay. We are back. This is Jason Clemmons, and this is Life with Jason Clemmons, DC. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you enjoyed that first half of the show. It's called Blitzed. You want to look it up? It's a great book. So let's talk about this relationship that we've got with standard process. So if you would like to get standard process from us, you go to the website is therock.standardprocess.com. So The Rock, TheRock, therock.standardprocess.com. That is it right there. And I could probably, let me put it down here. Yeah, therock.standardprocess.com is what we're talking about. And so there's a difference between synthetic and non-synthetic vitamins. And when we talk about vitamins, let's remember what we're trying to do. We're trying to give the body the nutrients it needs in order for the body to do the things that it does. Right? We're not trying to manipulate. We're not trying to do like the Germans and this whole pharmaceutical industry. I'm not trying to manipulate the physiology. I'm trying to support the physiology. I'm trying to give your body, because we believe that the body is a self-healing organism, and if you put the cell in the proper environment, then the cell will express itself the way it's supposed to. Like you don't need any help, you just don't need any interference, and the cell needs to be in an environment that's congruent with health. And part of that is from a nutritional standpoint. So when on a bottle of Catalin, right here, if you look at the vitamins, like vitamin A, and let's just use vitamin C, 4 milligrams, right? 4 milligrams is like, what are you talking about? That's what you use. Well, it's because of the synergistic effect of whole foods. So these guys have this has been a family owned and operated for more than 90 years, from our founder Royal Lee to today's president Charlie DuBose. We have forged collaborative relationships with caring health professionals who share our values. So they've got this really amazing farm. I think it's like 100,000 acres in Wisconsin, and they grow their own stuff and they process their own stuff, and they've been doing it now for 90 years. And so I'll just read some of this out of the catalog. And it's not just that I got some catalog and I'm telling it to you. This has been 20 years that I've been that we've worked with Standard Process. It's amazing some of the stuff that they have. Standard Process excellence is our standard, and we stand behind our quality from seed to supplement. Our mission has always been to change lives, and that starts with our commitment to quality. Since 1929, Standard Process has been a family-owned company and a visionary leader in the whole food-based supplements. From growing our own organic crops to our investment in science, technology, and manufacturing, we are committed to delivering high-quality products that work the way nature intended, right? So 1929, that's what I love about the universe. There's balance in the universe. 1910, Flexner wants us to go pharmaceutical. The Rockefellers own the pharmaceutical companies. The Carnegies funded the whole thing. There you go. That's the beginning, right? But there's always balance. There's always pushback to that. And here we go in 1929, we got Royal Lee starting Standard Process to try to say, hey, look, not all of us are buying that model. Not all of us are buying that model. And I know that it's getting few and far between in the world today, but I know that there's also starting to catch up, because we've seen how this model works, right? We've seen how this model works when you get dependent on drugs from the time you're a little kid. As soon as you have some sort of colic, get them a drug. As soon as they have a sniffle, get them a drug. Run to the pediatrician. Where did the pediatrician get its training? From the top medical schools in the United States. Where did the top medical schools in the United States get their funding? From the Carnegie Foundation. It all came back. Where did they get their idea? From the Germans. What did the Germans do? Created meth and aspirin and opioids and heroin. They created heroin. They created morphine. They're the ones that did all that stuff, right? And that was the model that we followed. Sometimes we need the model. I'm not arguing that the model is completely wrong, but it has nothing to do with wellness. Let's just make sure that we understand that, right? Wellness is a different game. It's not the sick care game. It's the wellness game. So if you have to concede your health to the sick care world because you've lost your health, okay, that's fair enough. Get after it. Those guys are great. They do a fantastic job. If you need them, go get them. If they need to have surgery, if you got to fix something. When I broke my shoulder and I was in college, I probably could have let it heal, but I probably wouldn't have done as good as I did with my surgery. It was broken. I got tackled. It was 3rd-degree separation. That dude was separated that far. It hurt. I wanted to take something to kill the pain. Okay, great. I'm glad it exists, when you lose your health. I lost my health that moment. I was perfectly fine. And then I got hit from the backside, just like that, driven into the turf, and that shoulder separated. I lost my health. I was no longer in the health and wellness world. I was in the sick care world, and I was needing some help. I was needing some medical intervention at that time, and I got it. And I know some of you have lost your health and you need some medical intervention at that time. Not throwing stones at that idea, but we just really should understand that it's a different game. So the standard process company, they're the ones that um, that we really believe in here at the Rock. We get some stuff, we get some other stuff. Like I use the Pro Omega D in the liquid form, but just because of the volume. So this is a Nordic Natural product that from the Omegas, that because of the volume of it, it's hard to get the amount of volume. And I'll show you some of the things that we've got with a standard process. But um, there's all kinds of different products that standard process has, and everything, they're all whole foods, and they're made from let's just take the first one on the list. Like one of the very first ones right here is like adrenal desiccated. And adrenal desiccated is what we use for patients who can go to sleep but they can't stay asleep. So they might need some support for their adrenal glands, because their adrenal glands are kicking up in the middle of the night and causing them. If you're one of those people who can go to sleep but you just can't stay asleep through the night, we would use adrenal desiccated. If you're having trouble going to sleep, we would use Drenamine. Now, Drenamine is the supplement that helps you go to sleep. So I can just go to 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I could just go to the website. It's therock.standardprocess.com, and you'll see our logo up there at the top, and you'll see buy products, and you can just go right directly to them. If you want my help, I really highly suggest it that you call us, send me a text. I'd be glad to talk to you about it. But so then you just go in that product search, and we'll just type in Drenamine, and just the first few letters of it. So Drenamine is adrenal function support. So Drenamine is an adrenal function and energy production support supplement with vitamins involved in production of neurotransmitters associated with emotional balance. So you're all revved up and you can't get to sleep. So now we're going to try to get some support there. It involves in healthy adrenal gland function, supports energy production for metabolism, contains vitamins that are involved in the production of neurotransmitters associated with emotional balance, supports a healthy immune response, contains combination of key ingredients. Yes. Then you can go down to the bottom and it'll tell you the details of Drenamine. A lot of times there's like a little video there, and it says how Drenamine supports adrenal health. Vitamin C is found in high concentrations in the adrenal glands and plays a role in the natural stress response as a cofactor for the synthesis of catecholamines, the fight or flight hormone secreted by the adrenal glands. Vitamin B6 dependent enzymes are also required for the biosynthesis of epinephrine and dopamine, two other important neurotransmitters. That's what that meth is driving the heck out of. That meth that kept those Germans up all night long is because it floods the brain with the epinephrine and the dopamine, right? And then that epinephrine is the adrenaline, and that's the right side of the brain, and the dopamine is the left side of the brain. And so what the meth did is it stimulated those cells in the brain that release those neurotransmitters, and now the person can't go to sleep. Well, some of those same things happen to us when our adrenal glands are firing all night long, because we're in that stress response. And when we get into that stress response, now we can't go to sleep. We need some help with that right there. So how Drenamine impacts emotional balance? Dietary intake status of selected nutrients, which include niacin, B3, that's what we studied on Friday night, right? Riboflavin, B2, and vitamin B6, all of which are included in one serving of Drenamine, is associated with mental health status with regard to mood and optimal neurological function. B6 is a cofactor for the synthesis of GABA, serotonin, and dopamine. Vitamin C is an antioxidant which is critical to the healthy immune system by helping to manage oxidative stress, support the maturation of T cells, stimulating leukocyte function, and playing a role in natural killer cell activity. Vitamin C is also important for white blood cell function as well as the maintenance of regeneration of cells. Vitamin B, riboflavin, B2, B3, and B6 also play the role in the immune system. So you can get that, and then you can go to nutritional information, and then it will break it down. So in a whole food setting, we're looking for synergy. It's the apple. It's the fullness of the apple, not just the parts of it, right? So it gives you the nutrients and the ingredients right there. It goes to their calcium lactate, rice bran, bovine liver, bovine adrenal, porcine stomach, nutritional yeast, organic buckwheat. There's your vitamin C right there. Juice powder, organic buckwheat flour, bovine adrenal, PMGs. The PMGs are called protomorphogens. And one of the things that the PMGs, anytime you see that, is the PMGs are kind of like a missile defense system against a hyperactive immune system. And so if your immune system is hyperactive and it's out looking for things to attack, or maybe there's something on the organ like the heart or the liver or the brain, whatever, that maybe we're trying to get the immune system off of for a minute, that's where we would use the PMGs, the protomorphogens. That's what we use them for. So we can take those, the immune system now attacks the protomorphogen, and it leaves the organ alone, gives us a chance. Thyroid, tryptophan PMG is one of them that we use for thyroid. Juice powder, magnesium citrate, organic flour, bovine bone, organic shiitake mushroom powder, organic reishi mushrooms. So it's like really, it's whole food stuff, right? And all this stuff is grown there on the farm. It's all manufactured there on the farm, and we've got all kinds of stamps and approvals and all those things that go along with it. So those are some of the things. Those are ones that we have. Another one that we use a lot, like I mentioned, the Catalin. Here's one, Cruciferous Complete. Cruciferous Complete is kind of like taking your greens. So it's one of those ones that you can take. Like Cruciferous Complete is here, let me get to the nutritional information on it. It's really cool. So you can just click on every one of these. You can go down. It tells you is a supplement containing cruciferous vegetables that support healthy liver function in the elimination of free radicals. Supports healthy liver function, provides ingredients with antioxidant activity, contains kale, Brussels sprouts, which have compounds that have been shown in our preclinical research to promote the liver's detoxification pathway. So that is one of them. You can look at there to tell you about the details. It will give you about free radicals and detoxification. If you want to learn about that, nutritional support for a healthy liver. Then it gives you the citations down at the bottom of all the different articles. This particular one, there's 14 of them listed right there. And then it gives you some support, some synergistic products that might go along with it, like garlic or Livoplex or Spanish black radish. Those are things that might go along with trying to help your liver if you want to increase function of your liver. And so you can just kind of go in there. Then you can go into the nutritional information again on the Cruciferous Complete, and then it just tells you what it is. So a proprietary blend, organic kale, organic Brussels sprouts, and other ingredients. So that's the main things right there that you're getting right there. The organic kale and organic Brussels sprouts, and then some vitamin K to go along with that. So anytime you take your vitamins, you're getting the vitamins in those green leafy vegetables. You're getting your vitamin K. That goes along with your vitamin D. So, and then like another one where the synergistic ones that went along with it is like Livoplex. So you can learn more. You just click on the Learn More tab, and it'll take you to Livoplex. And then Livoplex is a supplement for liver health that provides foundational support for the liver. Supports healthy liver function, supports the body's normal toxin elimination function, supports normal digestive environment for the GI, normal bile production, all that sort of thing. Got some PMGs in there. Good stuff. That's what we're trying to help people. A lot of times when we run your heart rate variability and your heart sound recorder, it gives us some of the information that tells us, hey, and your symptom survey is one of the big deals that we do. When you fill it out for us, it gives us which section of your body is not functioning the way it's supposed to. And so we can fine tune what your supplements are that you need to be taking and kind of narrow down some of the things that way. And you might be able to do some of this on your own if you want to. You can, but you can order it straight from the rock.standardprocess.com is what we want to send that to, right? So some of the other ones. Let me get back to the homepage, and some of the other ones that I wanted to run through tonight are, they're so Standard Process is a company that's in the United States. Now, there's another company. It's called MediHerb, and MediHerb is an Australian company. And the one cool thing about in Australia, not that I'm worried about it from Standard Process, because I trust Standard Process to what they say is on the bottle is on the bottle. I trust them. They've got they got 90 years of experience, and they do a fantastic job. And I've got 20 years of clinical experience that tells me that I trust what's in that bottle. But in Australia with MediHerb, their quote Food and Drug Administration is in charge of their supplements, and so they are highly regulated as to what is in the bottle and has to be tested. And so one of the things that I've used for a long time, ever since I was in chiropractic school, is echinacea, and the echinacea premium, and that's what we get from MediHerb. And so the echinacea premium is now these are the tablets. If you get any of the echinacea premium or the echinacea that goes in the liquid form, you better be very careful when you take that. Like one capful in a small shot glass of water with some water in it is probably the best way to take that. You can take it straight. I've done it before, but it's kind of like having pop rocks in your mouth and times 1,000. Like you put it in your mouth, and then the more that the saliva hits it and the more that the air hits it after you've swallowed it, after you've swished it around in your mouth, man, for about the next 5 minutes or something, it's 5 to 7 minutes. It's crazy inside your mouth. It is extremely, extremely strong. But this is the echinacea premium from a pill standpoint. So it combines the root of echinacea and two different types of echinacea to enhance healthy immune system function. It has been traditionally used in herbal preparations to help enhance healthy immune system function, support upper respiratory tract health, and to relieve temporary mild throat discomfort associated with hoarseness, dry throat, and irritants. So that is one that is that from the MediHerb that is pretty cool. Another one from the MediHerb is the Go-To Cola, and it's called GOTU KOLA, Go-To Cola, and you guys may know about that. And it's with healthy skin and your circulatory system, your capillaries, your blood vessels, right? It's one of the things that it does. Go-To Cola complex contains Go-To Cola leaf, grape seed, and ginkgo leaf for healthy skin, capillary, and circulation support. These herbs have been traditionally used in herbal preparations to promote healthy skin, promote healthy blood circulation, support healthy capillaries, provide antioxidant activity. So Go-To Cola is another one right there. You can read about that, about the different herbs and what it's used for and how you would combine it with other ones like Boswellia complex and vascular care complex. And those are from MediHerb. One more I wanted to talk about tonight was Gymnema. And there's wild yam, and you probably have heard of that before. That, like, especially in for reproductive system function, that's there's. I know a lot of the females use that a lot when they're trying to balance their hormones. Wild yam is one of those things that's also used, but Gymnema is one that helps us with controlling blood sugar. So if you're needing to kind of break your habit of or your addiction to sugar, and you're trying to get that blood sugar under control, Gymnema is one that helps the sweet cravings. It kind of takes that sweet tongue away from you a little bit. It contains Gymnema leaf, which provides anti-sweetness activity by suppressing the ability to detect sweet taste. Gymnema leaf has been traditionally used for centuries um, in herbal preparations to reduce the sweet cravings and help suppress or inhibit sweet taste sensation. So if you're trying to break free of it, you need something to kind of help you out from that standpoint. Genema is one that you might consider. It really is something we've used it for a long time here in the office. And so those are just some of the big ones. One of the other ones I had written down was Cyruta Plus. Cyruta Plus is something that I take every day. I think I might have it right here. Yeah, it's right here. This is Cyruta Plus. This is the vitamin C. This is the buckwheat powder. This is the vitamin C that I take for my immune system. So Catalin has some buckwheat powder in it. Catalin is my multivitamin. Cyruta Plus is my vitamin C, and then my fish oil or my fish oil tablets. Either way, you can get fish oil from Standard Process. It's got some different levels. I've always gone in a little bit different direction right there because I'm a volume guy when it comes to that. I think volume matters, and but not that the Standard Process, the tuna omega is great. You could get that from them if you want to, I have no objection to the Standard Process omegas. I just simply am telling you that they're from a volume standpoint, it's kind of hard to get to. And then the last one is just like some of the last stuff I want to touch on is like the canine adrenal support, the canine cardiac support. You might talk to your veterinarian about this, but there's some flex support. So the wear and tear on the joints and surrounding tissues, especially in very active and aging dogs, can cause stiffness and trigger the body's normal inflammatory response function. Canine Flex Support is a chewable chondroitin and glucosamine supplement for dogs that helps support pathways involved in dogs' healthy joint function. So, indication for use, maintenance, especially for large breeds, performance dogs, and growing puppies. For dogs in needs of joint support, especially for active dogs. Now, I don't treat dogs. That's a veterinarian thing. I'm just telling you that Standard Process does have that. They have some support for cats. And then the equine support. So like there's equine metabolic support, equine immune support, equine GI support to help your horse, equine mobility support, and equine performance. So you could go to this, you can go right here, you can just therock.standardprocess.com. You can type in any of those right there in the search bar, and like you can just put in equine and it'll give you all of them. Equine, all of them that show up right there, the metabolic support, the equine performance, what it's got, how it breaks it down, the immune support, mobility support. So like equine, let's do an equine immune support. We'll click on that. We'll read about that. So encourages and supports the innate and adaptive immune response that is necessary for health, performance, and stamina of the horse. Powder format for simple addition to food. Unique formula includes an array of ingredients derived from functional foods. Some of those things are some mushroom powders. Again, mushrooms, calcium citrate, magnesium, organic buckwheat. Same thing that we eat, right? It's the same type of stuff right there. So I'm not making recommendations for your horse. Let me make that very clear. I'm not making recommendations for your horse. Talk to your veterinarian about that, about your horse or your dog or your cat. But Standard Process has a product for that. So Standard Process products, MediHerb products, they're a little bit stronger and they're very synergistic. They go together. Those things that if you guys are interested in any of that stuff, then you can go to our website, therock.standardprocess.com, and it's a fantastic web page. It will give you all the information that you want to know about your supplements. If you want, we highly recommend that you contact me if you need some help with it. And so I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. I hope you guys learned as much about things that I did today. We're going to be back tomorrow night. If I can get this book broken down, we might do it tomorrow night for our book review. If not, we'll have something good for you. So hope you guys have a good night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 6.